Kanji, get on your bed. Kanji Bones, get on your bed. You need to get on your bed. Kanji Bones, come on. Is a little pooch who hates his bed. Kanji wants nothing to do with the bed. Buttons, buttons, buttons. I told Jeff I'd have this song on for the start, but we're not going to have this looping for 10 hours because I would go crazy. But hello, everybody. So I'm going to turn that off and go to what I was just going to have playing beyond that. So Yakuza music. That's all I could think of today. Hooray! I'm using the term Halloween desserts very loosely. I am making pumpkin cookies. Oh, a little bit? Yeah, I can do that. Thanks, Jeff. I'll do it here. No. Is that better? Okay, cool. Thank you, Jeff. So I'm making pumpkin cookies. Believe the exclamation point menu. Command should work. Watch it, not today. Perfect. I'm making pumpkin cookies that are on the website. Minor adjustments because I realized I was missing a few ingredients that I've made from Don't Starve Together. I figured pumpkins, Halloween, perfect. That counts. The other thing I am going to make, which I've been talking about for a little bit now, is a batch of matcha brownies because I figured the green from the matcha could make it look like icky gooey slime. That counts, right? I was like, that's close enough. So basically it's just a big dessert night. I have this blocking. Okay. Happy Thanksgivings. We'll just merge all the holidays into one tonight. We'll figure it out as we go. So this one, the brownies are going to be completely kind of experimental. I have a brownie base that I like working with that's on my website already. But I'm making some adjustments to it because, again, past Vicky didn't check everything. I'm short on cocoa powder. And I need to change that up. So we're going to just use actual chocolate chips to keep that even. And we're going to get started on that immediately. Because I want that sooner than later. And it's going to take a little bit. So we'll actually switch right away. Let me think how I'm going to change this a little bit. Because the one adjustment is going to require an early change. I think I typically melt the butter down for this. I had it kind of half written out before. Yeah, so we're going to melt the butter and add the sugar and the chocolate chips then. Let's actually see how much cocoa powder we have. No. I also got that cat. And this, I was at the grocery store and I was buying Halloween candy for Thursday. And I was like, oh man, I should get like something for the stream. So this little cat that's like hidden, you can't even really see it. Can I have it bounce? No, this side. There, that's a little better. Like it's hiding back there and it's barely noticeable. So I got that, and then I got these. Spooky. That's the spookiest thing we're going to get. Maybe Kanji over there being upset at his bed. But beyond that, today, yes. I took a picture of him on Instagram earlier, and it's just him directly next to his bed instead of on the bed. So 1 1/4 cup of this. Definitely is not that much. So like I said, we will replace it with some actual melted chocolate. I just want to see how much I have of this. And I was at Costco and I looked at like the cocoa powder there. And I was like, no, I think I have a bunch at home. Hey, Onichi-chan. Okay, let me say hi to everyone here. I saw Opie, I saw Crow, I saw Brandon and Harry. It's a dessert night. That's why I have my lovely, I forget what it was. Whoop. Oh no, I took off the little tag. Oh, hi, Opie. Kind of weird having like the earpiece and that, because it's like sitting on top of each other. All right. How much cocoa powder do we have? I'm going to guess like a half cup. That's probably accurate. I also keep trying to think if I should only do half a thing of the brownie, because if I'm adding the cream cheese layer on the top, maybe that would make more sense. Means I wouldn't have to add as much. Yeah, let's just do that. Just because we're adding that extra layer of flavor on there. And I think if I did the full thing of brownie, it would be, with the cheesecake and everything, way too tall. Whoop. How was everybody's weekend? Did y'all have a good, either relaxing, productive? I actually had a pretty productive one. I say, it could have been more productive because I got very distracted with Outer Worlds. Very distracted with it. Because I had forgotten that game was coming out. Like, completely. I remember when they announced it, I was really, really excited about it. And then I didn't hear anything about it again. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Well, that's out eventually. And then when I saw people like on Twitch playing, I was like, oh, that's right, that game did come out. And I think someone retweeted something about like one of the food items. And I was like, oh, shoot. Of course this style of game is going to have food in it. Why wouldn't it? So I was like, oops. I should have been a little smarter about it. See, I tried toning this down. This camera. I think with the way the light is here, it bounces perfectly off. Maybe I need to do it this way. We'll figure that out later. But I was like, I should have remembered. Let's see. Well, that's nice. So, Crow, you had your niece's visit. Mariah, you had a Halloween party. Ooh, roast beast, chocolate wands, dragon breath season. Oh, that sounds like a fun Halloween themed party. They are as spooky as I want them to be. So one's just like regular pumpkin cookies, but the matcha brownies that I'm making are gonna it's gonna be a layer of like matcha cheesecake on the top, and I'm gonna say it's slime. Ooh, spooky. Okay. Fingers crossed, Crow. Crow's asking when we'll be getting the authentic Saltuna recipe. Next week is my hope. I'm going to be testing things this weekend for it. I have ideas. Roast beast. I love that. Though my butter's melting, gotta kind of pay attention to it. Okay, so I have that melting. I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna have to put some chocolate chips to melt that down. Yeah, monster brownies. That's what I'll start referring to it as. Monster butter, please. If your butter starts like bubbling like that and it's like really getting angry, just take it off the heat and kind of swirl it around there. Or be smart and reduce your heat, unlike me. Sugar. I have to keep reminding myself that I'm doing this in half. So I don't want as much sugar. So it's 2 1/4 cup. So a cup and 2 tablespoons. This is definitely a night of, oh my goodness, sugar. Sugar of all formats. White sugar and brown sugar and honey. And maple syrup because I don't have enough honey. So we're doing a lot of that. And 3 different kinds of chocolate chips. We have chocolate and white chocolate. So much today. So I'm waiting for this to melt. Let me think about my ratios here. 1/4 cup is the usual thing, so I need a half and 2 tablespoons. And I barely got a half cup here. Probably about a 1/4 cup of this. So I'm gonna add some chocolate chips here. Extra chocolate to this isn't gonna really hurt it, but we want to make sure the ratios are at least still kind of close. I mean, it's Halloween, right? So everything is sugar filled. My big mistake was getting the Halloween chocolates and then opening it this early because I've just been sitting here snacking on them. All right, so I've added the whole chips. The actual cocoa powder I'll add afterwards. Hello, lemon drop. Yeah, tonight, just a lot of sugar tonight. All formats of sugar. Letting that melt. I'm gonna add the sugar soon. Like in my head, this should be fine. Should be. Mix. I know for sure, like, the pumpkin cookies will probably end up at work. Because if I'm going to pick between the 2 desserts to, like, keep and snack on myself, it's going to be the chocolate and the matcha. Like, that's the part I'm like, oh, yes, please. Right, so we're adding the sugar in here, and I want the sugar to go ahead and dissolve. You don't want to cook it too much. I don't want my sugar getting too hot and hitting certain points and caramelizing. We're just doing this to really mix it all together real well. Check one quick thing. That should be fine. Oh no. I know. Oh, matcha is like one of my favorite dessert things. I'm just like, yes, please, more matcha. It was definitely like one of my favorite things with going to Japan was the amount of like green tea flavored. I'm gonna take that like off the heat. So I'm gonna, I think at this point, probably turn that camera off for now. Spooky. So this brownie recipe, I'm just mostly following that. So I got the bowl here. don't need the mixer for this one. This one I've done pretty typically by hand, and it's easy enough to mix. It gets pretty thick once you start adding like the flour and everything. So I'm gonna just keep saying out loud, doing half, so we don't goof that up. Now we don't want to add like the eggs or anything because this is pretty hot and that'll cook the eggs some, and that is the last thing we want. Thick matcha. I'm gonna add part of the cocoa powder that we had, extra chocolatey. Mix, 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 mix. Doing this by hand. Do people have plans for like actual, I'm assuming most people had their Halloween parties this past weekend, but I don't know if anyone has like plans for actual Halloween day. Kanji just wants to get grumpy. That's what he's gonna do. Ooh. Now, are you just gonna chill at someone's place, or are you going to like a theater to watch spooks? Our plans, well, usually I would stream on Thursdays, but we're not going to because we do have like local kids that'll come by. And Kanji will be barking the whole night. Yeah, you will be. So instead of doing that, we're gonna, if the weather's nice, it should be. I think there's supposed to be rain during the like morning, but then in the afternoon it should be fine. We're probably gonna just sit outside and chill. Cocoa powder and butter are well mixed together. Salt and baking powder. I get that feeling, but I know for me, that's the one. Halloween's the one time of year where I'll be like, okay, I'll play nice with the children. Because I always liked, at least growing up, being able to go places and get candy. And so we also don't like skimp out on the candy. We get like what Jeff and I like. I was sad because I went to the grocery store and I was looking at candies and they were like, oh, I wanted to buy like Reese's peanut butter cups because that's one of the like, in my opinion, top tier candies you could get when you're trick-or-treating. But all they had were like these weird snack-sized ones, which were like half the size of a normal cup and pretty like thin. So instead I was like, this is no good. So I bought a different, I still got peanut butter cups, but like the real tiny ones, and there was like a variety pack. And I've been eating all the dark chocolate ones that are in there. I'm like, ugh. I get that. See, S tier, thank you. Yeah, exactly. But the thing I got out of it, well, one, besides these little things, I got these adorable bags. You know, I'm going to start. I got these bags at H-E-B, and they are the cutest. They were only like $1. So these are each like filled with candy for their like little Day of the Dead things. El perro. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are perfect. We also needed new like lunch bags for work, so I was like, perfect. Perfect excuse. And did you hear the word peanut butter? Ooh, maybe you will get peanut butter. You could dream about it. But Kanji does really well. I know for like the children, it's a little better for Kanji to just be outside because every time then he sounds like a big dog. The kids are like, oh no, spooky dog. So he sits on his leash, just sitting outside, enjoying himself. Half teaspoon. Whoop. This time I have a costume. I thought we had some other things. For some reason, Jeff, I remember we had like a bee hat, but I have no idea where the bee hat is. Like in my head, that was a dream. Maybe I dreamed I had a bee hat, like. So Kanji's costume probably at most is going to be his like bandana that he has on right now, or he has a nice little spooky bow tie. Just because it's hot. We could put little cow ears on you. See, that's the death stare. I thought we did as a costume one year or something, but it must have been a dream that I had a bee hat. Count Kanji would be little cape. That would have been good. You already have teeth. Okay, baking powder, and then I think. Let's see what the temperature is on this. I'll let it cool a little bit more. 2 eggs. I'll mix these separately and then add them. What am I looking for? A fork. Count Kanjula. Yeah? Kanji, that's not your bed. Where do you think you're going? For some reason, he really likes to sit right under the camera sometimes. It's like, I'm good. You can't stop me. Gonna need more eggs soon. Meeks, meeks, meeks. Meeks, meeks, meeks. No. Okay. No pooch. What else did I got my hair redone. It's a little more neon than I would like it to be, but that'll tone down after a few washes. So I was like, okay, whatever. More neon. Yeah, neon. So it probably doesn't show as much there. I've noticed in certain lighting it does. I mean, this is more neon than that is, but it has toned down a little bit, which is expected. I mean, the person did it to keep it longer, and I'm like, it'll fix itself. He is just going to be dressed as a stadium. as the ball. As the Lucio Ball. Okay, I put some vanilla extract in there. And now... I'm gonna add the eggs in. And the last thing I need to add is the flour. And then the brownie base will be ready. See, now I'm like, this doesn't seem like enough, but we'll see. Maybe what I'll do is I'll transfer part of it in and see if I'm happy with how, like, thick that is. The only issue is I know if I start, what am I looking for? Making it again, I'll need to kind of mix them both together, which is fine. So I haven't this is the most I've costumed in a while. So I feel like, what am I doing? Is there anything important Thursday? I might just go with this and just wear this all day, because it's a simple enough costume that whatever. Do I have to go to NASA? That'd be good. Actually, then I'd want to go to NASA to be like, hello, everybody. I know the place I went and got my hair done, they were all talking about they were gonna get dressed up on Thursday, and the person who was getting my hair done, she's like, "Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna go as Mimikyu, the Pokemon," and it's just like, I don't think anyone's gonna know what it is. I'm like, that's amazing. It's perfect. I would hope they do. I know they also had like a pumpkin contest, and those pumpkins that they had there were so artistic. It was amazing. But I kind of like expect that, I guess, from a hair salon. You're creative when you're doing hair. Like, I think most people don't see it as a creative thing, but it's definitely a creative kind of position. This is true. It's a good way to start a conversation. And be like, what's up? What you doing? I should also loosen this a bit, because my brownie dough is also typically very big. Whoop. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna check something with the recipe real quick. Oh, hey, Aaliyah. Wait. How? I saw your pictures from you made the Salisbury steak and the Insta mash. Hope it was all delicious. I was looking up something. I'm like off the screen. Matcha, cream cheese. Like, I need to search something real quick. All right, you're a corporate advertising machine. As person wears, yeah, that's a good response. I think that's just ridiculous for the person to be like, oh, please, what do you think you're doing? Just checking something real quick. That's, like I said, my brownie recipe is usually a lot thicker, and I want to double check brownie cheesecake recipes. Cheesecake brownies. And thank you, Opie. And thank you, Lemon Drop. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So, the thing is, I think after this dye, I'm probably gonna calm down in the dyeing for a little bit. Just because my wallet is sad. So it might become a thing where I do it for like half the year and then stop and then repeat later on. Cause I think it's been about 6 months since I started doing this, and I'm like, okay, my wallet after a while is just like, how about no more? This is so thick. So my hair takes about 2 months to grow that like inch, and as I've talked to people, one, I have to get the haircut eventually because then it starts like being funky. And the nice thing is this place was like, she was like, yeah, if your sides or your back get messed up, just come on in and we'll do it for free. And I was like, oh my God, that's so nice. So I'm going to probably take them up because that's usually what goes first, because I got the top cut a little shorter than usual. just because I think the last time I got stuff done, it was like, oh no, I had to go earlier. So yeah, every 2 months, having to get it done, and then it ain't cheap to do. Right now, this is called Vicky's experimenting with randomly throwing things into the brownie recipe. Do not mind. Do not be concerned. It'll all be okay. While that butter melts, I will probably start looking at the cheesecake part. Cream cheese, 8 ounces. Same with the cream cheese for the cheesecake part. Like half. It's telling me I still want to double this, but we'll see. We shall see. Now this I am going to put in this mixer. Because mixing cream cheese sometimes is just like, oh. So I really want it to be kind of airy. So that'll do a better job of adding air into it over what I will do. I do have to be careful with adding the butter directly in there. I don't want it to cook the eggs again. Just because based on a lot of the recipes I was seeing for this, it was a little looser. And I don't want to add milk to this. Because brownies, I don't think typically have, based on the quick search, don't have milk. I know that's how you would probably loosen things up a little bit, but what I probably did was just maybe add too much. There we go. Make sure this kind of cools down a little bit. Might also add an extra egg. Egg to it. So typically when I make it, if I'm just doing this, I want it to be this thick. I think I want it to be looser because I have to add some at the top of it for the swirl. So I have not done this. Let's see how this goes. So I'm using like my base brownie recipe, but it's me not thinking. It is pretty thick usually. This is like, hello. But that's done purposefully. I want it to be a real mean brownie. Dun, dun. Yeah, I think the flour ratio is just a little higher. This is where I go, oh, this is probably where we restart it, which is fine. Yes, his name is Kanji. Kanji the Corgo. Kanji gets it. We all need to be chill right now. Like, where's my whisk? Not in there. I might have to add. Yeah, this will be fine. It'll all be okay. Yeah, Kanji had a long day of sleeping, excuse me. See, this is the problem. You start experimenting and doing weird things to desserts, and then you're gonna goof it. I'm like, maybe we don't swirl it. So I'm like, the butter is being funky. Ow, I'm just gonna really goof this up real good. Maybe we won't swirl it. I'm like doing this and I'm not happy. I almost feel like I should reverse and not do that. Yeah. Let's back up for a moment and maybe put that one aside and rethink what we've done with ourselves. I guess this is fine for a brownie, but I don't know if it's gonna work for this brownie recipe. It's thick. It's just a lump. I feel like there is no saving that, so I'm gonna revert a little bit. Paddle, cream cheese. I gotta let that go at least. The matcha part, I'm sure will be fine. Gonna just let that sit there. Oh, that could be it. Because I'm adding the melted chocolate. So yeah, that could be causing issues. I didn't even think about. Please. No, we just won't, like I said, we won't make it swirly. How about that? Unless I go with this one and I just put it in and just make this a regular brownie recipe. And then it's now with the extra butter in it, it's kind of goof. You know, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let this goof be a goof. And we will remake. We will switch. We'll just let this do its thing. We will bake this sad brownie. Oh no, it's like too big for the pan to... I'm only doing a... Here. You just go in there and I'm gonna ignore you and pretend that didn't happen. No, I'm making just cream cheese. So I think my bowl is... My sheet pan's bigger than the recipe calls for, so I need to figure out how to fix that. Could I bake it in a round? Let me think. Because we gotta start over again. This time I will follow the recipe sort of, because it has like rice flour instead of regular flour in that recipe, and I don't believe I have rice flour. Cream cheese, yeah, is for the matcha part. Let me rinse. Let me rinse this bowl real quick. Yeah, the chocolate was solidifying on the bottom. Okay. I think this recipe calls for melted chocolate, so that'll work. We just gotta work quicker. Which, that brownie recipe, the regular brownie recipe I do make is definitely I've had a bad week and I'll make that. Pretty on the regular. But I think because it's so thick, it doesn't work well with the mixing part, so I'll behave myself and actually follow the recipe. No experimenting. There probably will be experimenting, let's be real. Alright. Bowl. Whoop. Try again. Yeah! But that first brownie's failed. We're gonna just let that cook and ignore it. Pretend it doesn't exist. Okay. So, for the brownie, 6 tablespoons. I probably need to do it in the stand mixer then, because I don't think that's melted. Okay. 5.5 ounces of chocolate. Where'd my chocolate go? Chocolate chips. Where did I put you? I know you there. Blending in. They've felt that way for right now. It was like, where did I put you? Okay, good. I need to weigh things now. $160 grams. That one only has a tablespoon of the cocoa powder, so we're not going to do that because we don't have any. Oh, no. Nope, too much. I also have to figure out if I have a smaller pan. Calls for an 8x8, and I think this is like a 10x. Yeah, it's like 9.5. Oops. Let's see. Oop. What is smaller in here, but still has a tall? 8-inch? 9-inch? An 8-inch and then this is a 9-inch. They're both technically smaller. I think the 9-inch round makes more sense, so we'll go with that. Alright, sorry. I'm like in my head trying to figure it out. Trying to make sure. Yeah, so just gonna let that do its thing. So we're not gonna do it that way. Oh no, wait, it does melt the butter. Okay, good. That recipe is kind of the same, but kind of not. Let me clean this too. Real quick. See, it's okay. If you mess up, you just gotta run with it and try. If you're realizing something's going bad, you can continue to try fixing it or just go whatever. Time to toss that aside and try again. Which is what we did. We tossed to the side and we're starting again. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna cover up our little mistakes by making loud noises. We're never gonna get to the cookies at this rate if I keep goofing. Go back to the stove cam because we're gonna be back here. Before I start it, I'm gonna read the instructions for sub. Oh, alright. Gluten's not a concern, which it won't be. Half cup. Alright, 6 tablespoons of butter. Diced. I had a butter. I'm like, I had a knife. I have 2 knives. So we're gonna go ahead and dice it. Turn that on to low. So medium heat. Turn the heat to low. Add the chocolate and stir until melted. Remove from the heat. Whisk in the sugar. Whisk in the eggs, vanilla, the flour. So the chocolate goes in, the sugar goes in separately, which sugar amount we need a half cup. Just gonna have everything kind of ready ahead of time this time around. Hello, Renee. Yeah, happy little mistakes. Something's happening in the oven. We'll see what happens there with the sad results, but sitting there, kind of chilling, doing its thing. Have the 2 eggs ready. And now see if that works, because now it's a lot lighter. Oop. Oop. Jeez, I will look at you in a moment. Slowly letting that do its thing. This needs to get washed. See, the cookies on the other hand, those are easier. Those are easy peasy weesies. Those will get. Sometimes desserts don't want to play nice. And by they don't want to play nice is Vicky was goofing around and got what she deserved. With baked goods. Okay. That has sugar in it right now. Half cup. Okay. Again, just want to have everything kind of like all set up. So it's just kind of a quick line of like wham, bam, bam. While this is doing its thing, this to kind of keep whipping together. Do I need stand mixer and sugar? A 4th cup of sugar in here. Okay. Like I had a 4th cup, but that was used for cocoa powder earlier. Now we're double timing this. Risking more errors by doing 2 things at once. Add that sugar in until smooth, stopping to scrape and do its thing as we go. I'm gonna put this here because I'm gonna probably need you later. Butter is doing its thing. May or may not need that. Let's actually wipe this down again. Scrape, scrape, scrape. So far, just cream cheese and sugar is in here. Now we need to add, it says to add the matcha pretty early in and then whip it till it's happy and all mixed up. So this is the monster part. One tablespoon, which is 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. That was teaspoons, not tablespoons. Do not fear. Actually, more would be just fine, so. Okay, so the butter is almost there, melted. We're letting it take its time. Yes, Poochies? Can I help you? You're not on camera. I haven't opened the pumpkin yet, so I don't know what you're looking for. But this matcha is actually a lot darker than I was hoping for. It's not the happy, like, super bright green one. Scrape, 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 scrape. And it makes it look spookier. Actually, what'll probably brighten it is we are going to be adding melted white chocolate, so that'll help. It's being a nice dark green right now. All right. So, read the instructions, Vicky. Turn the heat to low. It is low. And then we're going to have this until it just melts. In there. And then we're going to plop it in here afterwards. I'm going to turn this up. Let me know if it's too loud. Mixing that way. I know certain angles that I'll do will make it louder. Because it'll be in that. No, Vicky. Look at the ones you're grabbing. This is the matcha one. Okay, so we're doing this until just melted. Oh no! That's awful that you're... Is it an electric stove top? Yeah, I hate... when I was in apartments, we had the electric stoves, and I hated it. That was one of my things when we were looking at houses. I was like, no, the stove has to be gas. Like, because that chest melted. So we're going to go ahead, shoosh that, transfer this to this bowl, and then do everything that says. I think YouTube just got angry and said, are you listening still? We were, YouTube. Whisk in the sugar. Now we're just going to sit here silently and enjoy the sounds of whisking. Room for the heat, whisking the sugar, whisking the eggs, the vanilla, and the flour. Ooh, what did you... I'm interested to hear. I have no professional culinary training, so that's always fun to learn new things. Okay, we've adding the sugar, the eggs. Whisking that in, so we're a lot looser. Still looks thicker than it's gonna. Maybe because I'm doing it by hand. 2 eggs, vanilla extract. Oh. They cook things at 500? That's... when you're having to make a bunch of things, it's like, well, what option do you have? So it's easier just to have everything. Wait, it looks like it's... Just keep whisking. It's arm day. Exercise. Do I watch the test? Yes, I do. I do watch test kitchen things. The Bon Appetit stuff. Add the flour. Doesn't have two things I am going to change. I know, a little bit of salt. Oh, I did not watch the noodling one because I have seen that one, and I'm like, it's been on my list of things. Yes, Claire is amazing. I love her. I love a lot of the things they do. There's a few of the recipes that she's done, like the remaking things. And I'm like, oh, that would be fun. I liked her the Hot Pocket one. Because I ate a lot of Hot Pockets growing up. I have not had any. And I've loved, I like a lot of their segments. They're all very smart people, and I enjoy the work that they do. And all of them, yeah, they are professionally trained individuals. See, I still don't think that's enough. That's a lot smoother. So, that's what matters. I'm going to grab the smaller tin. Ta-da. Let's let that mix again. I am jealous of their ingredient budget, where it's just like, oh, we'll buy this to try this, and it's like, oh. I mean, they have the benefit of being in New York City to be able to grab whatever pretty easily. I mean, I am fortunate enough to be in a big city where I can buy weirder ingredients. And I'm not afraid to walk into whatever kind of markets I need to go to. They can be intimidating for some people, but I'm like, no, I'm going to check this out. I ain't afraid. All right, let's see. Kind of cleaning up the mess I'm slowly making. Next thing. This is going to go on the ground. BT dubs. With how things are going today, that would be exactly what would happen. Okay, I need to measure out white chocolate real quick. Need 100. 115. Close enough. So we'll start that. Yes. Yes. Like restaurant cooking and like regular home cooking is a world of a different thing. For sure. So I want to do 3/4 of this in here. This seems so thin. You know what? At this point, we're following the recipe. White chocolate likes to really take its time with melting also. On the stream screen? See, I've always thought that was silly. I guess I could. Oh my gosh, I should have been on the other camera for a while now. Like that's silly. We don't need that. I guess I could put it like somewhere on the bottom. I always think it's silly because you can't click on the links at all on the screen. I got a ticker. Are there things I don't know about? There. My white chocolate is now melted. I'm gonna scrape this. Oh, that's right. Mobile has some real funky stuff going on. Oop. Which I wish they would fix the mobile application somewhat for Twitch. Let people get access to all the information that's on there. As of right now, this is just... That's just delicious. I just keep saying... Go to... What is the... I'm going to test the closed captioning. You can check out all my recipes at Pixelated Provisions. That, once again, is Pixelated Provisions. I could only assume it, like, really goofed it up. I'm going to add a vanilla extract. I have a vanilla bean here. I thought about... Actually, you know what? I am going to do that. Urgh. I know that's one thing I need to be always mentally prepared for, like, if someone hosts me or raids me or whatever, to be like, hi, my name is this, I do this, and this is where you can get my information. Do a better job of that. Advertising myself. So bad at that. I mean, I've recently gotten better about, like, when I introduce myself to new people in general, I'm like, oh yeah, I do this, I work and do this. Also, my side gig is this. I've gotten better at, like, saying, oh, I've done this. I have a cookbook. I've done things. Hello and thank you. Oh, okay. That's closed captioning, winning the evening today. Always looking out. Looking out for Vicky. The thing is, I've seen, like, Twitch itself has, like, a closed caption thing that only some people have, like, access to. And I'm like, of course I think partners for sure have access to it, but it's always like, yeah, that's functionality that you should have for everyone. So it's accessible to everyone. Now, I know that technology is not easy technology to, like, develop, but come on. Make it accessible for people. Yeah. Gonna add the white chocolate into this cream cheese filling. I say cream cheese, eventually cheesecake filling. Need to add 1 egg to that too. Let that go on higher. Closed captioning is dangerous. Closed captioning is not family friendly. It does what it wants to. Here we go. Add the egg. Gonna scrape things down real quick. This is definitely monster green. Want that to be airy. Still feel like the ratios of stuff is gonna make for, like, a thinner. Also, I assume these brownies that were in here are, like, overdone. Because they are. I kind of ignored them. Just gonna. Okay, so now with this, we're just pouring this directly on top of the brownie. Right, I put everything in. Yes. Yes. Matcha, please. Okay, so now we have this nice thick layer of matcha on the top. Now we're gonna add the whatever brownie stuff we have left over, kind of splotches of it. So we could, it's got thick again. We'll attempt to swirl it in some format of our ability to swirl. Yeah, I guess with the blacksmith stuff, I have some minor things that I've sort of made a list of, like, oh, here's things you could buy. If you do buy anything off that list, it does I am like an Amazon affiliate, so I will make money off of it. That's just something to keep in mind. Okay. It's making a face at me. It's looking at me funny. One of the many knives that I've been using all day. So, I'm going to attempt to swirl this nicely-ish. Probably wanted more brownie so I could cover it a little better. Whee. That's right. I think the Yakuza 4 like remake thing came out. So you guys could see this. 4-3. I feel like something came out today. Camera's not doing real justice, but I made it all woo looks swirly. It's a monster. It is. Oh, that's right. I forgot. It is National Chocolate Day, so perfect that I'm making a chocolate mess. All right, let's read. It says 30 minutes, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it because just in case. This other one that was much thinner. Which I probably only should have had for like 20 minutes in there. I think it went longer than that. This is where it thinned out. What? The big thing I need to be careful with is no chocolate kanjo. Yeah, it was overdone, but it's fine. I think it's a section that kind of... It's all that thin. Keep dropping it. Yeah, the side that's not real thin is fine. These are messed up ones. Camera's not. Camera doesn't play nice. Stove cam. This one has the autofocus on. This one. It is overcooked, but the half of it's fine. For how bad of a goof we were having, it fixed itself, kind of. No, I had a moment of like, oh shoot, I need this for something else. I didn't. So Jeff, if you would like a piece of sad brownie, you come get some sad brownie. So I need to. I think that's one of the biggest things with like cooking, and I kind of liked like the Twitch streaming stuff. I'm gonna goof sometimes, and it happens on streams. It's more live setting, and it'll happen. And I want people to realize that even though I have that food blog up, everything looks wonderful. It's not always wonderful. Sad brownies don't eat this half of the brownies because this is where it's spread. This part here is a little more moist than that. It's over, you'll see. I would grab like That should be fine. Yeah, basically anything from that side. On the blog, I hide my goofs very, very much so. Um, yeah, messing up is a thing, and I think that's why I like I said, the streaming stuff, because I could go, "Hi, I'm a home cook and I goof, and it happens, but we fixed it somehow." Like, you could tell it's overcooked, but it's fine. It's like good enough. I probably should have pulled it out earlier, but eh. Alright, now I need to... It's just dry, so, like... if we had ice cream, that would be perfect. The ice cream would kind of hydrate it a little bit. Very much so. Like, nobody's perfect. And if they want you to think that, that's probably a lie. It is all heavily edited. Because I've had weekends where I'm like, I am going to cook this. Actually, this weekend, I learned something. So I made soup dumplings, and it worked. Like, it actually functioned and worked well. The thing I learned, the goof part, was... I didn't cook all of them because it made a lot of them. And so I was like, okay, I'll just put them uncooked in the fridge. The dough, like today I took it out, the dough stuck together. And so I couldn't take them all out to go and re-steam them. So I was like, oh, this is just breaking holes in it. And I'm like, well, that doesn't work. So the big note that I'll have to put is, you have to cook them all. Like, if you're going to make them, you cook them all that day. Maybe if I put them in the freezer, it would have been fine, but I wasn't sure how that was going to cook afterwards. All right, so I'm like, just kind of sort of cleaning this mess a little bit, so then I can start the pumpkin cookies, which that one, you could get the recipe from, if you hit that exclamation menu, that recipe is on that list. We may make a full one, we may make a half one, just because I was a little worried about ingredients. So right now, I'm going to just quickly rinse a few things. So I have my bowl. I'm not going to need the same... Actually, what I'm going to want to do is kind of have some things be on water. Where we play shuffle shuffle. It almost ended poorly. All is well. I'm like, is there anywhere? Just carefully do that. So now I can put this in water, the thing with all the chocolate. There will be lots of noises for a little bit. Let's see. That's one. Okay, so the whole measuring thing is definitely a big thing that people goof, and that's why whenever people are like, "Oh, I want to start cooking, I want to start baking," I go, "No, you're picking the hardest thing to start with. Like, sure, if you follow it to the T, you'll be fine, but most people aren't going to follow it." Not to like make fun of my sister or anything, but I will. She sent me a video of her doing like these sugar cookie things. I don't know what she did, but I feel like her temperature was wrong in the oven. Like it was running hotter, and I was like, well, one, you should make sure. But she took pre-made sugar cookies, and they were supposed to be shaped like zombies. And the end result was they blobbed. Like the whole thing was just like a sheet of sugar cookies. And I was like, and of course you could fix that. Like if it becomes, just recut it. Let it cool a bit and then recut it. And she's like, oh no, we just ate it. Like you should have called me. I could have told you at least that. She's like, oh, that's so smart. But she is not a baker. She is not a cook. Well, no, that's not fair. She does do some home cooking. But when I saw, she had like the perfect little like Instagram video yesterday where it was just like, here's the box of how good they're supposed to look, and then you see the result. I saw it, I laughed, and then I was like, I called her right away. I was like, you do know you could have fixed it. Like, oh no. Oops, all dumplings. It went quick. There was too many dumplings. I did eat a bunch of them, which was fine. And I was very excited about them. And then I got sad because there's no... I will not say they were not on the like level of like Din Tai Fung, but they were about on par of places I've had here in Houston. So that made me positive. Felt good about it. Alright. I've mostly cleaned up. Now we can start the next one. Time to make the decision. Do I do a full thing or a half thing here? I'm gonna do probably half because then it'll make 12 cookies and I'll... Whatever Jeff and I don't eat, we'll take to work. Oh no. I love hearing cooking goofs. Because we all do it. It all happens. One cup of butter. It's a half. Nope, half. We're doing a half. And we'll get there eventually. So this has been sitting all nicely. Actually, is this going to be a rude recipe and be like... I'm like, I always have a hard time with recipes that are like an egg recipe and I do half, because then I'm like, there's only one egg in this recipe. Well, here we go. Oops, all cookies. My coworkers will be happy tomorrow then. Especially since I'm not going to be sharing the... Probably not sharing the brownies. 17 minutes. I'm going to take a peeky. Looks fine. Okay. Just let that do its thing for a bit. Pinkin. Oh no, a cup of cinnamon? Oh no, don't, no! Oh no! Jeff, 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 Jeff. Alright. So I'm going to, in another bowl, I'm going to combine all of my dry ingredients while the butter kind of does its thing. So I want 2.5 cups of flour. I was really sad because I know I'm thinking to myself, I should do like metric system stuff to make sure everybody is in a good place, and technically weighing stuff is better. When I was working on the Fallout book, I started putting grams and everything to just kind of have that there. And then they were like, no, we don't want this. And then when I see things like the book being sold out in, like in Germany, translated in German, I'm like, they're not going to know what a why'd you guys do that? So then when that happened, I just get lazy. I'll do a better job. Ooh, since... Woo. Substituting for a cup of blueberries. Oh no. Oh no. Some things don't. That's amazing. I could see someone being in the kitchen and being like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, of course, that's how you would. If I'm replacing it, it has to be that way. Alright, so I got flour. I'm putting some rolled oats. A cup of rolled oats in here. I don't have a container for this. I need to make sure to leave this out because we are going to be having oatmeal all week for the mornings. Yeah, I have to get better at like mentally learning how to do that because I've heard definitely with the measuring stuff. I've slowly gotten used to like kind of remembering some things, and then right now not remembering any of my numbers. But it leads to more accurate bakes. 100 grams is always going to be 100 grams. A cup is not the same for everybody. Do you mean a leveled cup? Do you mean a half-full cup? Do you mean a packed cup? So. Yeah, it's a lot of... I think if I started... Maybe that will be like a goal of mine for next year, to be pretty consistent with it and just kind of force myself to be like, okay, do it this way first and then start to understand what that means and be able to translate it eventually and be used to it to the point where it's like, okay, this makes sense. It just gets hard because, yeah, growing up in the States, you just kind of cook that way. That's that. Let me ginger, nutmeg. Just put some ginger in there. Hey. Can you believe there are people outside, Kanji? Oh, the ginger always wants to get right into my nose. I don't know why he's so spicy right now. Hey, Kanji. Kanji. No. Okay, put that in and make sure. All right, now this is where we are going to have to start adjusting things a little bit because I'm lacking in the correct amount of honey to be had. So in my head this makes sense. I'd have honey like for half of the recipe, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to replace the other half with maple syrup. That should work, right? Like, in my head that makes sense. And that should be fine. I know I looked at it and the maple syrup has a little less like sugar content in it, but I think it should be fine. Fingers crossed. No, your poor pudding. I've had that book sitting on my desk. I just haven't had time to cook anything from it. Maybe I'll do something for Thanksgiving. I always like to add at least 1 or 2 new recipes for my Thanksgiving meal. So that might be a good excuse. Ooh, 6 eggs to a liter. That's a good... What's Grumpy Sore? Is someone outside? Hanji's just being a grumper. Alright, so this is... So far, okay, in this here, we've had a cup of butter. I'm going to be adding half cup of brown sugar. We're gonna add that and mix it in. Mix that in with the butter. Nice softened butter. Boop. Boop. 8.5 minutes. Alright, here we go. Man, there's like barely a 1/4 cup. The maple syrup should be fine. It's gonna have to be. Up. Kanjo. Add the egg. Following pumpkin puree and that. And that. Yeah, honey. Past Vega, you didn't look at all your ingredients? But you conveniently have maple syrup. And a little less, just because it is a little looser. It should be fine. Ah, making loud noises. So I am going to be adding the last egg. Well, the last egg of this container. I have a whole other container filled with eggs. Which... Boop. Add the egg in. Let it do its business. Oh, is this in the book that the ratio is? Kanji, I agree. That jumped more than I expected it to. Now the nice thing is I am going to be getting a little bit extra pumpkin. That means Kanji's going to be lucky with breakfasts this week and probably get some pumpkin. So I only need a cup of it. Actually, before I do anything, I want to check the brownies. Just because the pan I'm using is a different size. From a temperature standpoint, it's fine, but it is still coming out a little very goopy. Very goopy. Sad brownie, please. Oh. I grabbed my pumpkin and then I got distracted. This is a 3/4 cup. I didn't want to make an extra mess of a thing. That's probably about a cup. Putting that aside because I want to save that for Kanji. Put that there. Gonna mix that up. So we have the pumpkin, the butter, the brown sugar in there, and the 1 egg. Saying this all out loud for myself so I make sure I remember. Vanilla extract. Boop. These cookies have a lot happening in them. Just for the liter. Yeah, because 6 cup. 3.5 cups. I really want to. See, I saw you made the soda bread. I'm like, oh my god, I haven't made that in a long time. And it is a recipe I like to make. I think I make it typically for Thanksgiving. So that'll be probably the next time I do it. Which I am thinking. So usually for Thanksgiving, the Sunday before, I do a bunch of prep work, cutting the back off of my turkey, and a few of the sides, setting that up, making marshmallows. I might stream that because that week I'm going to be probably lighter on streams because I am going to be prepping things after one of the desserts. So I might do that. That'll probably be one of the longer streams because I do have a lot to do that day. I'll be in the kitchen anyway. me do it this way. So we're putting half of this in. Oh, that bread. It's so good. Now I'm going to add the maple syrup and the honey. Add a little bit more liquid to that. I will be curious to see if it should hold up together still. Okay, and mix again. Oh, yeah. American Thanksgiving. That's right. Up in Canada, you had it a few weeks back. 2 weeks ago? That threw me off, too. I was like, oh, that's right. They have a different day. Next Thanksgiving is end of November. Okay, let's see what this is looking like. See, the matcha part is getting all toasty. And there we go. Yeah, the temperature's fine. It's a little loose, but that's fine. A good stove. So you can see, I probably should have put aluminum foil when I noticed that it started browning. Yeah, but it gets the point across. Kind of cover it. Like that, I wonder if like the recipe should have been done at a slightly lower temperature, but I was behaving and mostly following the recipe. Mostly. Alright, back to Pumpkin Land. November 28th. Alright, so yeah, the 14th was Canadian Thanksgiving. Yeah, the weird thing with Thanksgiving is it's the fourth Thursday, I believe, of November. So the date's always shuffling around. I know this year November's pretty awkwardly long, so it's pretty late in the November cycle. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, lemon drop, because I was like, that I should have been paying more attention. Alright, so this is mixed together. And now the last part of this cookie recipe is I need to add. Note, I've added like the kitchen sink at this point. This recipe has so much going on. In there. A lot of dishes tonight. I'm going to be adding dried cranberries and some butterscotch chips. I think the flavors of that is like super good. And it works really well with the pumpkin. Yeah, Yeah, that's what it was. The recipe was set for 350. 350 sounded high to me, and I should have thought of that. I was thinking 300 probably would have been a better bet. But it's Monday. I'm clearly not thinking. I did it. I was proud of myself. So Jeff was out this weekend, and I did a mostly good job of keeping up with the dishes. And then I just kind of left them. Actually, no. It would have been worse. Just a bit because of... There were so many soup dumplings to make. Alright, so... Butterscotch. Real vanilla butterscotch. So we need to cover this. These are darker than... I haven't bought their butterscotch before. I think these are a little bit darker than other brands that I've seen. Which I'm fine with. And a half cup of dried cranberries. There's a recipe I've wanted to work on for a bit now. Well, because we're in the holiday season. In Stardew Valley, there is a cranberry drink, I think called Cranberry Crush? Something like that. But it's a cranberry drink, and I've been going to my local grocery store and being like, okay, it's cranberry season, right? It's like, no, not yet. Too early. So I think every week I just have it on my list. If I see fresh cranberries, I want to buy it. Okay. Beautiful. What's nice is, now this is the easy part of me making a big mess. Kind of clean this up real quick. Lucky. I think here, stateside, if I went looking at other grocery stores, I might be able to find them, but I think they become really more of a regular thing in November. I was hopeful that I would be able to find them a little earlier, but I would imagine the uptick in sales of that is right around Thanksgiving. Which I will say, probably fine. Oh, I forgot to grab. I need to grab the wires. What? I have horns on my head, so I'm like running into everything right now. Slightly taller than I normally am. Put these down. So you were, you wrapped up like your first session, right, of like classes? Do you start right back up for the next set, or is it like a longer break before the next set of classes start back up? There we go. With these cookies, they don't have to be perfect. You just kind of put some down. About a tablespoonish. Oh, nice. Ooh, recipe development. That's a class that sounds real nice. These like little circle things on this silicone pad's kind of nice because I'm like, I'm roughly there, roughly this size. They're mostly the same. I feel like in the picture there it looks like there's more cranberries. Whatever. Whatever. So I want to make sure they're all kind. This one looks small. Okay, I will turn on the other camera soon once I get like this set. Stove. Turn on. So this is them before they get baked. And before I put them in, I'm gonna try to lay that there. And I'm gonna go ahead and set the other tray up. So then I'll put both of them in. Leave that sitting there. Ooh. Chef hat. So people know who's in charge. That's why they make chef hats so big. It's ridiculous. Yeah, food styling class is also neat sounding. I guess that would make sense for that to be a class. Cause like in my head, I'm like, but not every. No, if you're working at a restaurant, you still want your food to look good. Like the recipe thing said about 24 cookies. I'm getting more than 24. That's for sure. And he's pretty big too. He's fine. No, close enough. Okay, let me throw these in, and then we'll try and get the brownie out of the container. I probably should have put it in the springform one, but that one I think is larger. I'll let that do its thing. 15 to 20. So we'll start at 15 minutes because I am actually turning the convection on. Like, do I want to just like see if I could like flip it out? Ooh, we'll see if this works. Mozzarella balloons, agar-agar noodles, foams and spheres, emulsion, fluid gels, olive oil. Oh my gosh, so that's like really experimental, like cooking, which you would see at some of those crazier Michelin star places. Ooh, it just slipped out. That's nice. That worked out nicely. Now I need another plate to make sure I can flip it back. Heck yeah. Kind of disconnected, but... Oh, should have I taken a picture before I started cutting it? I was surprised how easily that just went like, whoop, I'm out. I'm good. There are so many holes poked in here because I was taking like... Kind of separating a little bit. Spooky face. Ooh, I didn't mention this. I'm like exactly Photoshop fix it. Jeff and I finished. We finished Stormblood yesterday. I won't say any spoilers or anything because I don't want to. Ooh. But I'm happy to be like caught up. Done. That was a lot of expansions to go through. So many expansions. I meant Shadowbringers. Oh, it's Monday. Yes, sorry. We finished Shadowbringers last night. We are all caught up. We did it. But oh, so much. Which, for me, like, there was a lot of time being spent playing the game. So, like, I realized today after finishing it, I was like, oh, I have this, like, list of games that I'm, like, currently playing. And I was like, this is larger than I usually allow it to be. 6 games. I was like, uh-oh. Well, 2 of those are technically streamed games. Final Fantasy VIII and Minecraft. So that's a separate thing. And I was like, Final Fantasy XIV, we technically, even though 5.1 drops tomorrow. But I've had Judgment sitting in the back lines. We picked up Dragon Quest Builders 2 recently, and that is a delightful Switch game, which works real nice. And The Outer Worlds now. And, oh, that was a mistake picking that game up right before we finished Shadowbringers. Yeah, thank you. Shadowbringers, and I was like, oh no. Because I just want to play Outer Worlds right now. I haven't tried it yet. Let's see. Actually, I should... Ooh. Ooh. See? So the recipe didn't... Yeah, the recipe didn't have salt in it. And I think adding the salt was a good idea. Because you get the salt hit right at the back end of it, which is a nice, like, it uplifts it. Oh my god, Crow. Same. Like... I love my Switch, but that game I wish was also on the PC because I would just like consume it. Yeah, it is something that I think you should do. That's not what I want. I want to hit this button. Stove. Okay. Ta-da. So this is the edge. I noticed. Let me cut another piece. More towards the center. Actually, if I just like remove this whole section. So the cheesecake's really, really soft. Cheesecake should be soft. It shouldn't be like rock solid. So I know I'm gonna probably throw this in the fridge and it'll be real nice. But I like the ratio, and the ratio works out real nice with this. It's very, very good. I can't. I think I've watched one episode of that one. So the way I consume a lot of my television is while I'm I'm cooking, and it'll be background noise. And that one I had a harder time like having it as background noise, so it sat there for a bit, going like, Vicky, you should watch this. You should watch more. But I know it's a shorter series, so it's like it is one I should sit down and watch. So yes, there are a ton of really, really, really good Switch games. Okay, I need to do something later. We'll wait for the cookies. Oh, we're waiting for the cookies to finish up. Jeff, you want a matcha brownie? You want to keep eating sweets all night? This is good. And I think doing it in the pan that I did was a good call, because my other one was too big. And I think the brownie would have like been as thin as that one was. Let me switch the camera back. Oop. Oop. Do I? Do you? I mean, you have to come get it. Oh. The thing I was worried about, and it's kind of happening, I was worried the chocolate would completely overpower the matcha, but you do get the matcha through it. It's subtle. I probably would increase the amount of matcha that's in the recipe. I had a tablespoon of it. So I might say to up it to a tablespoon and a half.
It's a nice little monster swirl.
Monsters. Kind of. I should have put aluminum around the outside to fix it. Yeah, Sam, let me give you that sweet close up.
It's very good. The matcha's really light.
It's light. I wish it was a little stronger. So that's the cut section. And then this is how the swirl kind of turned out. Like I said, the edges are a little overdone because I think the temperature that it has you cook it at is a little higher than you would want it to be. Yep, Jeff took more. Whoop. But it's good. I think sitting in the fridge, then the cheesecake will be more cheesecakey. Probably. But again, I think that's because of the heat that it was done at. Since it was higher, it browned more around the edges. Now, when you cut it in half, it definitely... Move here. Whoop, whoop. This one's a little darker in the camera. This is pretty green. The camera's not doing it... Bleh. The camera's not doing it justice. So... Camera definitely does some things. I'll do this picture and that'll be more... I'm not gonna load it now because my camera likes to... My phone likes to be like, I'm done, and then shuts down after a while. Old phone. 4 more minutes on the cookies, supposedly. Did anyone? Oh, those are monster cookies. Oops. Like they're giant. Kanji knows how beds work. Oh, yes, he does. Just kind of keep my mess contained. I should put this pumpkin in a container, so then I could use the rest of it later for kanji. Because this is 100% just pumpkin. So I don't have to worry about it like having extra sugar added to it, so kanji could at least enjoy this. Okay. Delicious, delicious pumpkin. This in the refrigerator. Move this to the side because we have the cookies coming up. Making more and more of a mess. Operation make as much of a mess as we possibly can. Kind of clean the bottom of the plate because I think it had like pumpkin cookie residue under there. This away. Now it's just me kind of like slowly cleaning the kitchen a little bit. I shouldn't have this here because then we can put one set of the cookies up here. Let me rinse my thermometer real quick. Alright, so since we're just chilling. Other people who are playing The Outer Worlds, have any of the recipes like caught your eye? Are there ones that you would like me to see do? Just because the game has a lot. And I'm pretty excited to start experimenting with them. Because I kind of get to put my, like, the funky, like, weird stuff I did with the Fallout book with this series, because there's a lot of funky stuff. See, that's a nice, easy one. Oh, how many slots do you have for your healing bong? Check that thing. Yeah, these are good. Well, bam. Okay, so in order to unlock more, I believe you need to have more points in medical. I think at 20 you get to add 2, and at there we go. I'm like the cookies. At 20 you get to add 2 items in that section, and then at 40 you get to add, I think by default you probably have to have the Adreno stuff in there, because I've been able to, because I have 3 slots. I've been putting points in medical. I have Adreno, and then the bread, the Spacer's Choice bread, and I think I added one of the, like, the energy drinks that they have in the game. Okay, so Jeff's because Jeff's playing right now. So yeah, I guess the Adreno has to be in there, which, in a sense, that's the stim pack of the game, which makes sense. So these are the cookies. They're real big. Big cookies. They're very good. They're very soft. These are cookies that if you start moving them now, they're going to go whoop and fall off. I'll probably just stop that there. These are very good. No, so the bag icon does not count as the Adreno. If you run out of that, the bag icon counts as what is in all the slots mixed in. That's just the UI's way of being like, this is what you have. But each of the individual slots that are next to it are something else. So you can't, if you don't have medical points, you can't increase it. This is why, like I said, Jeff, purple berry. So what would purple berry be? See, this is the question. I have ideas for my base for the Saltuna. It's super easy. Because clearly it's salmon and tuna. But I'm going to play around with that. I'm not going to can it because I don't want to deal with the jarring. That's just something I'm good at passing on. That should be good. Trying to think. Since playing this weekend, I've been taking a bunch of pictures in the game. I've done, I think I have a folder of like 90 pictures of like either a character talking about food, any of the weird posters that are in the game. One of the characters started talking about what's the apple? It's not apple. But whatever the equivalent to an apple is in the game, was talking about a pie. Oh, because you can ask them the question, what's the value for pie? And then he responds with, well, I really like it paired with some creme fraiche and stuff like that. And I was like, mock apple. There we go. Mock apple that looks like a combination of apple and maybe like peach. The dialogue and oh god, that game's so good. Well, I'm done cooking. I think I'm gonna go play a little this evening. Actually, I smell like pancakes. I think because of the maple syrup. The big old like moon thing. Just remember, it's not the best choice. It's Spacer's choice. Oh, that game. I have a little bit of this. But you could smell the maple. Yeah, it smells. Actually, I think the maple syrup plays real nice with it. I think I did honey in the original recipe because this is from Don't Starve, and one of the ingredients you can get is honey. Well, actually, these are very good. I forgot how good these cookies were. Oh, welcome back. Even with a mistake, we managed to get 2 desserts and a... Are you proud of me? This one doesn't have the same circle sizes, but it has a littler one. So it worked out. Everybody's saying hi. That's Jeff. It's Jeff. Let's see. Who is... Are you bearding up? Not really. Oh, I said nice. Oh, no one's really on. Using the thing as a mirror to see. Wow. Harry hasn't seen you in forever. It's been a long time. The cookie? Or seeing Harry recently is very good.
Both.
Both? Okay.
Different reasons.
Different reasons. I'm just gonna wrap on up. I think I saw. I think I'm gonna send you all over to Tabatai Cooking. What's he doing? He is making. I want to make sure he does stream later usually. Oh, a bunch of things. A bunch of like easier things it seems like. But he recently got a batch of like yuzu, so he's doing a bunch of recipes for that. So I'm gonna send y'all over there. Thank you so much for stopping by, watching me make Halloween themed recipes. I will be streaming tomorrow. Maybe Minecraft? I think that's what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing. It is a multi-stream. We'll be doing something. I'll leave it up to Sam. Make Sam pick the game. Okay? So, yeah. Have a wonderful night. Thanks again. I'm gonna go play some Outer Worlds. Good night.